Hello and welcome to Hard Choices, the podcast where we rank the fuckability of characters from a fictional universe and discover what lies at the throbbing heart of horniness. And by throbbing, I mean we just ripped it still beating out of someone's chest, impaled it with their spine, and threw it into their head, which then, for some reason, exploded. That's right. This month, we are giving a whole new meaning to the phrase, finish him!
Ah, yes!
It's time for Mortal Kombat. I am player one, Miles Schneiderman, who you probably shouldn't have selected because I only have one move, and it's called Rant About Capitalism. Though capitalism is at least spelled with a K. Fortunately, you have some other decent options to choose from, including Dan Mulkerin.
Toasty.
MeganBob.
Let's turn this fatality into a matality.
Oh, that's very good. And special guest, Kam Servo.
Come over here. And here, and here, and over here.
Oh my god.
Excellent. Everyone, we are here on this very special and very sexy bonus stage to rank the fuckability of characters from Mortal Kombat, the one-on-one fighting game franchise originally released in 1992 from Midway Games. Mortal Kombat, of course, is known for its extremely R-rated graphics and gameplay, but in this episode, we're taking things in more of an NC-17 direction. And because Mortal Kombat now has tons of games and tons of characters, and these days tons of fucking timelines, we are limiting our selections to characters who appeared in Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, though I have a sneaking suspicion that we will also be influenced by the films. just some intuition on my part. So, each of us has independently ranked these 21 characters from most fuckable to least fuckable. We will be going around and finding out everyone's median character, the one they ranked number 11. We will then work our way down through the bottom 10 until we reach the character they'd rather jump into a death trap than fuck. Then go back up and hear about everybody's top 10 until we reach the character that represents their personal, flawless victory. For the most part, everyone will only be taking a brief jab at their reasons for ranking each character the way they did, but each of the hosts has 3 Big Feels combos available. Which means that any 3 entries on each list can be expanded upon into a slightly longer argument. After all the lists have been revealed, we will aggregate them using forbidden science to come up with a mutant hybrid master list that will probably betray us someday. And we will also take some time to unpack the choices our fellow combatants have made and ask for a few more details about how they performed their particular fucktalities.
Oh!
Now, before we really get into the meat of these lists, before we take a close look at their entrails, it's important to be reminded of the definition of fuckability. And that reminder, as always, comes to us courtesy of the only Mortal Kombat character whose fights always end in a friendship, MeganBob.
Fuckability isn't just about what they look like, it's about what they fuck like. So you have to assume that you are into them, they are into you. How good is the sex? And what is it like?
And with that, we've officially arrived at the character select screen. It is time to reveal which fighters are entering the arena today. But first, a few honorable mentions.
Number 1, Baraka. He's got a rad look, but he's not exactly the sexiest Tarkatan in the series. It's fine. I'm sure he's used to being cut.
Number 2, Ermac. He gets interesting later on, but he barely makes an appearance in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Still, one-man ghost orgy. Nothing to sneeze at.
Number 3, Cabal. This is another guy who has a cool look. But, if we're looking at characters from the Black Dragon clan, or the Black Dragon criminal overlord, whatever it is,
mercenary group.
Sure. We have a much more interesting member of the Black Dragons on our list. And, I don't know, if I was to see a guy wearing a gas mask and a trench coat and hook swords in a bar, I'd be like, All right, you got to tone it down a little bit, dude.
Two of those things are fine. Two of them are fine. Any two in combination.
Number 4, Motaro. It is a shame that we had to cut the one centaur that the game gives us. But Shiva made it clear in no uncertain terms. Either he had to go or she would. We're not fucking idiots. Shiva's the clear choice.
Number 5, Noob Saibot. Look, in Mortal Kombat 2, you have to win 50 consecutive matches to even see this guy. I imagine that you need to fuck 50 people in a row in order to get him into bed. Not saying I'm not willing, but I'm gonna have to clear some room in my schedule first. I have 2 children.
Oh my god.
Well, that's how you get more, by fucking 50 people in a row.
So I want more, Dan.
Yep. Number 6, Rain. Too drippy. All I'm gonna say, too drippy.
Okay, Ben Shapiro.
Oh.
As I've made clear in other episodes of this show, I am fine with drippiness in certain contexts. Rain is an overall drippy person.
And also just like a drip personality-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Sector. Easily the least interesting of the cyborgs on the list. Have the decency to experience a little bit of angst, man.
Kind of like him the best of the cyborgs, but that's fine.
Striker. A-cab. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's the tweet.
All right, and now for the actual 21 characters that we will be ranking today.
Number 1, Liu Kang. The closest thing that the series has to a protagonist, Liu Kang is a Shaolin monk, the greatest hero of Earthrealm, and a 4-time grand champion of the Mortal Kombat tournament.
Number 2, Johnny Cage. Formerly an action movie star, Cage decided to join the Mortal Kombat tournament as a way of proving that he did, in fact, do his own stunts, but has since become a genuine hero in his own right.
Number 3, Sonya Blade. A special forces officer, Blade got sucked into the world of Mortal Kombat while pursuing her nemesis, the criminal Kano. Sonya has used her military experience and contacts to fight Outworld in her own way.
Number 4, Raiden, the god of thunder and divine protector of Earthrealm. Raiden selects those warriors who will fight against Outworld's encroachment and often turns his back on his fellow gods to better protect humanity.
Number 5, Kano, the leader of the Black Dragon International Criminal Organization and archenemy of Sonya Blade. Kano always looks out for number 1, even if it means joining up with the forces of Shao Kahn to aid in their invasion of Earthrealm.
Number 6, Scorpion. The undead ninja escaped the NetherRealm in order to seek revenge and has since popped up around the various mortals' combat, sometimes on the side of Outworld, sometimes protecting Earthrealm.
Number 7, Sub-Zero. A cryomancer ninja from the Lin Kuei clan. This is the second and more heroic character named Sub-Zero to appear in Mortal Kombat. He fights not only against the forces of Outworld, but also against the corruption in his own clan.
Number 8, Reptile. A member of the lizard-like and nearly extinct Zaterran race, Reptile first appeared disguised as a human ninja, but eventually abandoned this pretense and now just goes scales out. Reptile loyally serves the forces of Outworld in the hopes that they will restore his dying race.
Number 9, Goro. The millennia-old, 4-armed prince of the Shokan race, Goro is the longest-running champion of the Mortal Kombat tournament and Shao Kahn's mightiest warrior.
Number 10, Shang Tsung. An immortal, shape-shifting, soul-eating sorcerer who serves as Shao Kahn's right-hand man and primary agent on Earthrealm.
11, Kung Lao. A former Shaolin monk known for his unusual fighting style, which incorporates a thrown metal hat with a sharpened brim. Kung Lao gave up his chance to become Mortal Kombat champion, instead focusing on training the next generation of warriors and protectors.
Number 12, Jax. Sonya's friend and commanding officer in the Special Forces, Jax found himself swept up into the battle for Earthrealm when Sonya went missing. Jax even went so far as to get cybernetic arms in order to make sure he was up to the task.
Number 13, Kitana. The 5,000-year-old princess of Outworld, originally serving her stepfather Shao Kahn as an assassin, she turned against him and now uses her Steel War fans to help defend Earthrealm.
Number 14, Mileena. A clone of Kitana created through genetic experimentation who remained loyal to Outworld when Kitana turned against them. Mileena is much more cruel and ruthless than Kitana, and, thanks to the Tarkatan blood used in her creation, also has a wicked set of teeth.
Number 15, Jade. Formerly an assassin and spy for Shao Kahn, She was sent after her friend Kitana when Kitana defied Outworld. Jade ultimately decided to follow the ancient Edenian Edict of Sisters Before Misters, however, and now fights alongside Kitana to protect Earthrealm.
Number 16, Smoke. A ninja in the Lin Kuei clan, Smoke joined Sub-Zero in opposition to their clan's move to turn their members into mindless cyborgs, but was taken and converted against his will. He retained his human soul, however, and still fights alongside his friend against Outworld.
17, Shao Kahn, the ruthless and fearsomely powerful Emperor of Outworld. Shao Kahn has conquered countless realms and will stop at nothing to add Earthrealm to his empire.
Number 18, Cyrax. A former ninja of the Lin Kuei clan turned into a mindless cyborg, Cyrax was sent to hunt down Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero managed to reprogram Cyrax, however, and now the cyborg wanders around seeking a purpose.
Number 19, Nightwolf, a historian, shaman, and warrior of the Matoka tribe. Nightwolf lends his magical might to the battle against Outworld when Shao Kahn targets his tribe's land.
Number 20, Shiva. Another member of the four-armed Shokan race, Shiva acts as Sindel's bodyguard. She nominally serves Shao Kahn, but if push comes to shove, she will turn against him to stand with her race.
Number 21, Sindel, mother of Kitana and formerly Queen of Edenia. Sindel took her own life a millennia ago, rather than become the consort of Shao Kahn. Kahn and Shang Tsung resurrect her in the present day, intending to use her in their conquest of Earthrealm. Unfortunately for them, the brainwashing doesn't stick.
All right, those are our 21 characters. Everybody ready to get into these lists?
Let's do it.
All right, then. Rank! All right, so we are going to start with everybody's number 11. So, MeganBob, who is your number 11?
Nightwolf. He is a stereotype of an indigenous person. I don't know how to sexually approach that, but he's also a werewolf. And I am into a guy who's a stoic werewolf, and we can bone on a bed of moss and twigs in the forest. And he's a good woo boy. So I'm sure the sex is fine, but I'm just gonna enjoy it more no matter what, because I'm like, but he a wolf man.
Okay.
He's peed on trees.
Interesting kinks coming out right off the bat
Sure.
here on this episode of Hard Choices.
I'm going to cut in here because Nightwolf is also my number 11.
Okay.
First of all, right off the bat, I just want to say we are recording. 3 of us are in the same room with each other, recording on the same mic, which means that I have to look these people in the eye as I talk about this stuff. So I guess you're along for my emotional journey, listener. So Nightwolf is my number 11, and I racked my brain trying to figure out what sex with this guy would be like. And honestly, I just kind of kept drawing a blank. He's given virtually no personality in the early video games. So in my opinion, I felt like he needed to be the middle of the list. He is the definition of middle of the list for me. However, I will say in the animated series, he had a cool wolf. And so if I get to pet a cool wolf afterwards, I mean, that's a major plus.
Or even during. Yeah.
Don't you usually shove the dog off the bed when that's happening?
Well, certainly in my experience, yes. My experience, you shove him off the bed and out of the room while he looks at you with a mournful face and wonders why. All right, Cam, who's your number 11?
My number 11 is Johnny Cage, and I want to preface this by saying I had a little trouble, I think we all did, because, again, not every character has a lot of personality necessarily, so I looked up everyone's animality.
Okay.
And so Johnny Cage...
I am deeply intrigued.
So Johnny Cage's animality is a kangaroo.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it is, baby.
Okay, go on.
So I love kangaroos, but it reminds me of when I was little and I had the Roo sneakers, and I don't know if you all had these, but they had little pockets on the side that you could put a quarter in. So it reminds me of childhood, and it's very warm and friendly. And Johnny Cage has probably been with some interesting people in Hollywood, so it's probably a good time, but it's not going to be great.
Yeah, okay.
And it'll just be a little off. So, number 11.
Okay. My number 11 is Shao Kahn. Look, I think that he's got that hot Dark Lord energy. He's got that very much welcome to my dark kingdom. Let me show you my evil delights, But the thing about Shao Kahn is that his like dominant character trait is that he's overconfident. He keeps thinking he can invade Earthrealm and he keeps not being able to. And if you bring overconfidence into the bedroom, it's not going to go well. Like, I just don't think... I am not into somebody who's coming into the bedroom going mad, like, I am the best at fucking watch this.
Oh, man. That's so many times. Anyway.
I know.
All right. MeganBob, who is your number 12?
Smoke.
Okay.
Like, Sex Hammer. He needs to come to peace with his cyborg side and make peace with this new part of him.
Wait, go back to Sex Hammer.
Yeah. You just gotta toss that one out
dropped
there.
in Sex Hammer and then moved on.
MeganBob has talked about Sex Hammer on multiple episodes.
Well, I remember having a conversation with you, Dan, at one particular point and going like, well, but obviously they fuck. And you just going, well, you're a person with a hammer, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
And
that's right.
like, so I approached things as like,
so you are the sex hammer.
I am the sex
Hammer
hammer.
and the sex nail.
I got you. Okay.
So he needs to come to peace with the cyborg side and like make peace with this new part. I think this can be achieved via a sex montage.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can try all of his various settings. And then at the end of it, he'll be happy with himself, probably. That's how therapy works.
Wow.
I took one psychology class, guys. I don't know if you know this. I'm basically a scientist.
You know, you really find the silver lining in I have no idea what I'm doing.
All right.
That's how I got this fucking podcast. Are you kidding me?
Dan, you're 12.
My number 12 is Kung Lao. In my mind, he's basically just like Liu Kang, except without all the angst about being the chosen one or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, he's the kind of monk who actually like goes down to the local village, you know, tosses back a few drinks and like parties a bit. So I'm like, yeah, like Liu Kang is lower than him on this list.
I thought you were just going to say
okay,
he just goes down.
I mean, as long as he takes his hat off first, that's fine
Oh,
with me.
Jesus.
All right. Cam, who's your 12?
My 12 is Sub-Zero.
Okay.
I don't particularly like the cold so much, but I live in the South and maybe that'll be refreshing. I don't know. Also, in case anyone was wondering, he turns into a polar bear and better than a wolf, maybe. I'll give him a bottle of Coke. It'll be great.
I'm just like, it'll be refreshing. I'm like, it's like a mint julep for your vagina. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know. It could. I've never had one. It could go any direction.
All right. My 12 is Jade. Jade is like, I guess she's loyal, which is good, but this is fuck not marry. So like, she is a ruthless assassin. And I don't think ruthless efficiency transplants well to the bedroom for me. So now it's time for 13. And I think going in the circle has been working well. So let's just keep going with Bob as your 13.
Kung Lao. Okay. Dan's point. There's not a lot here. He's mean to Johnny Cage. That gets some fucking points for me. However, all I have to say to him to get the sex of my fucking life is Liu Kang was incredible in bed. And watch him come unfucking glued.
Oh my god. Dan, who's your 13?
My 13 is Katana.
Okay.
And like, my whole thing with her is like, I don't think she'd be bad. I actually think she'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
But like, she just seems like the sort of person who has a lot of like very high standards and like a lot of rituals that she follows. So it'd be like, okay, we're going to do this tonight, but in the morning, you need to eat this root that my people have cultivated. And then you need to go into this oil bath for 2 hours. And there's like all these hoops that I need to jump through before we even have sex. And again, like, I think the sex would be fine. But like, if I'm going to spend my whole day prepping for this, it needs to be more than just fine.
Dan does not get into an oil bath for less than a 9.
That's right.
All right, Cam, who's your 13?
My 13 is Shang Tsung.
Okay.
Because, you know, if you're taking in all those souls, presumably one of them is good at sex. Also, on brand, Cobra. I'm not a snake person.
Fair enough. So my 13 is Raiden. He takes himself very seriously, and I'm just like, I'm not really into the god thing in general. Like, kind of gods, that sort of massive authority thing. Like, he's not as fuckable as Shao Kahn, I don't think. I think he's as high as he is for me, honestly, because of Christopher Lambert.
Look, you're not wrong.
But beyond that, there's the distinct possibility that at some point in the middle of sex you're getting shocked, and I'm not into it.
That could be a turn on for someone else, I suppose.
Someone else, that's fine, not for me. Moving on to number 14, Bob, who's your 14?
Jax.
Okay.
I think you can laugh during sex with Jax. And like, that's not nothing. And I have in the past stated my opinion on the merits of being able to touch skin and metal at the same time. And so, 14.
Okay. Dan?
My 14 is Liu Kang. You know, we occasionally have the like character type in hard choices that seem really dedicated or focused on their mission to the extent where you're like, wait, why are they even interested in this sort of thing? And to be fair, I don't think that Liu Kang is quite at that level. Like, I feel like Batman, for example, is like a much like more severe example of that type of character. I do think that outside of maybe some stuff that he's done with Katana, like, I just don't feel like he's that experienced. You know, he's like you'd have to explain to him how him giving you an orgasm helps him to fight Outworld. You know what I mean?
This is one of the 3 trials, Liu Kang.
Test your fuck. All right, Cam, who's your 14?
My 14 is Mileena. I am not really into the whole idea of a clone who wants to do her dad's bidding. If you have daddy issues, that's kind of a headache. And also, Animality is a skunk.
Ooh.
Is it really?
Yep.
That shocks me.
She
That's
releases
terrible.
stinky fumes that suffocate the opponent.
Wow,
That's
I'm
a
glad I didn't
crime.
incorporate animalities into my list.
Man.
Hard pass.
Boy, they were just like randomly assigning
Yeah,
animals to
seriously, that
characters
makes
in Mortal
no
Kombat
sense.
3.
You are going to laugh when we get to the top.
All right, my 14 is Sindel. I've gone on the record before as talking about how hot I think moms are, and she is a mom. However, she's like a corrupted mom, and like she's like dead, brought back from the dead, and now she like kind of wants to kill her daughter, right? Like, it's not the same thing for me. It doesn't do the same thing for me as like most mom energy does.
Shadow Mother.
Yeah, she's still really hot, and like superficially, I think that's why she makes it as high as she is. But put it this way: if I do my job right, she's screaming, and then I'm dead.
This is a risk.
Moving on to 15, MeganBob. Who is your 15?
Katana.
Okay.
She has an axe to grind. Probably does a good angry fuck. But it's, there's not more there as far as I can tell. I don't know. I don't get a lot from Katana, and I feel bad about it. She's very pretty, but that's not enough.
Fair enough. Dan, you're 15.
My number 15 is Goro. And like, he kind of seems like he'd be a little overwhelming, to be quite honest. Like, you know, if he's anything in bed, like how he is in the video game, then he's basically like fucking a train. Like, it's just, you just kind of have to like hold on and hope that you can keep up because he's not slowing down. Like, he's going to just be relentless and powerful. And also, he has a ton of stamina, so it's going to be an all-night affair.
Oh, Jesus.
My little tenderness, Goro.
I will say, once you're done, I think he's the single best big spoon on the list.
Yes.
So that's not nothing.
Yes. All right, Cam, who's your 15?
My 15 is Raiden. I just, a couple weeks ago, got tested for carpal tunnel with a test that's called an EMG. And if anybody ever has you get tested with that, you say no, you run away because it's electric shocks over and over and over again. And what I have learned is that is not my thing. That is not my kink. No, 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 no. Also, I have seen all the Mortal Kombat movies, and in none of them does he have any sexual energy whatsoever, so...
Oh, totally disagree about Lambert, but that's fine.
No, that's Lambert. That's not Raiden.
You see those screens where he holds up one finger and looks suggestively into the camera?
All right, my 15 is Shang Tsung. Theoretically, I could be into shapeshifting. I think there are applications, but like, Shang Tsung, I know that the premise of this is that you are into them and they are into you, but even if Shang Tsung's into you, he's still gonna fuck with you. Like, he is a traitor to his species. That he is still going to be like, oh, all of a sudden I'm your dad. Guess what killed him? Like,
Oh my
Oh, come on, that's kind of like Mystique.
Wow.
That could be fun.
Yeah, but I honestly think that Mystique would be like... Mystique would be less malicious about it than Shang Tsung would.
Oh, that is
that's saying a lot.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, we're down to 16. MeganBob, who's your 16?
Cyrax.
Okay.
Sad boy, but also robot. And the question that lives in my heart with all robots, what does this robo dick look like? I must know. I have to know.
All right, Dan.
Also, wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Time out.
Sorry.
Okay, who made Cyrax into a fucking robot?
His clan, the Lin Kuei.
Kuei.
Do you think the Lin Kuei put in dicks?
It would depend on what mission they were being sent on. They might have like different groinal attachments.
Groinal
Yeah.
Like fucking Yondu.
attachments.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's
Yeah.
like a fucking KitchenAid.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like diversity would be desirable if you're making an army of cyborgs. You know,
Okay.
you want to, like, they're spending a lot of money. You would think you would want to, like, really increase their usability, would be my guess.
All right.
Yeah. Groinal attachments.
There you go.
Dan, who's your 16?
My 16 is Shao Kahn. Basically everything I said about Goro, but then without the benefit of getting to cuddle in 4 strong arms afterwards. However, Shao Kahn is the guy who says finish him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's at least concerned about like making sure that you get to where you need to go. You know what I mean?
Or finish her. So he does.
That's true.
He does.
That's true. Yeah. Respects pronouns.
Yeah. All right, Cam, who's your 16?
My 16 is also Cyrax. He's a shark. He swims
All right.
underground with a fin out, coming back from the other side of the screen to devour the opponent.
That makes me like it more.
I just, like, it's a robot. They're not gonna, I don't know, like, he's no Data. That's all I'm saying.
It's time for my 16. Here begins a tier of characters that I have named Just Say No to Cyborgs. So my number 16 is Jax. I'm not into the military thing, not really into the arms. In Annihilation, his whole thing is that the arms are like are like a substitute for his confidence. So he's literally compensating for something. And it's like all the boners are gone.
And it turns out they're basically like shin guards for the
He
fucking
just takes
arms.
them off.
They're nothing. They don't do anything.
We are at 17 now, MeganBob. I'm very curious as to who your 17 is.
Sonya Blade.
Okay.
Military energy, big turnoff for me in almost every case.
I'm with you.
I admit, sex with her is going to be, I think, a tactical triumph. But I generally like my women a little bit more mischievous or conflicted, and she is neither.
Okay. Dan, 17?
My number 17 is where we start getting into the section of the list with characters that I have defined as too much drama.
Ah.
And, you know, there's a well-established pattern on this show of a certain person, let's call him MeganBob, who is all about characters who are gonna, like, you know, break down crying before, during, and or after sex.
Uh-huh.
And, like, Bob, I'm sorry, Megan, like, those characters are lucky to have you, legitimately, because I do not have time for that. My 17 is Sindel, who at this point can't remember who she is being torn in all kinds of different directions. I think if you had a sexual encounter with her at this point in the storyline, any sort of gratifying experience you could have would be just completely subsumed by her identity crisis.
Why does everything you just said make me want to rank her higher?
Oh, God.
Maybe you have a little MeganBob in you too,
I
Miles.
might. I think I do. All right, Cam, who's your 17?
My 17 is Kano.
Okay.
So I think that Miles also saw the new Mortal Kombat, yeah?
Dan has to, yeah.
Okay. So he's your racist uncle, right?
Okay.
Ooh.
Right? Like, the things he says in that movie are the racist uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's so terrible, and they are definitely punching up at him the entire movie, which I appreciate. But having to be around him would be a nightmare. Also, giant tarantula, and as Kit said famously, have you tried all the kinks?
Yeah. All right, my 17 is Smoke. His two main things are stealth and speed, and neither of those things works for me in the bedroom. I'm sorry. I don't want stealthy sex and I don't want fast sex, so...
You're like, who's touching your balls?
Never a question I want to be asking. Moving on to 18, MeganBob, 18.
Big feels.
Okay.
Liu Kang.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I feel nothing. I know there's probably some character ideas in here, but Liu Kang feels like they put googly eyes on a plot hole and said, yep, that's how Earth wins. This guy here, who is definitely a character, and it's not even that I don't care about Liu Kang. It's that the fucking creators didn't care about Liu Kang. They cared about everybody in Outworld. And I will grant you that the 90s movies, that guy is putting in a hell of a performance. That is all down to the actor. I do not feel like that represents Liu Kang in any way. I'm sure the sex is fine. All the qualities of your above average lay. But for me, it would be like trying to be horny about the idea of a person. And okay, he's a monk, that gets like 1 point, but that's not enough. I'm sorry.
He's traditionally celibate, so that earns him some points.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's like the end to make a strong choice.
Right.
Which I'm like, all right, that's hot. But I don't want your cardboard cutout of a character to be like, this is the hill I'm going to die on. I'm going to fuck you. And be like, okay. What am I looking at?
Are you saying you want more from sex than just like taping a picture of a face on top of a pillow?
In an ideal world, yeah, I would.
That's crazy.
Liu Kang's not going to give me that, though.
All right, Dan, who's your 18?
My 18 is Cyrax. You know, this is the second too much drama character for me. I did not come here to be a grief counselor. You're going to have to deal with your crisis of identity somewhere else. Still, you know, silver linings. I am not opposed to seeing what we could get up to with that net of his.
I'm going to break the order for a second here, Dan, because my 18 is also Cyrax.
Mm-hmm.
Because for some reason, what you said about Sindel worked for me, and what you said about Cyrax did not. The only thing I've written down next to Cyrax is, did we learn nothing from Prisoners of the Ghostland? No erections next to bombs, people. Don't do it. Cam, who's your 18?
My 18 is Smoke. Porcupine.
Wow.
I'm done.
The defense rests. I guess the prosecution rests in this case. All right, so now we are at 19, MeganBob. Who's 19 for you? You have a look on your face? I want to know what name you're going to say.
Shao Kahn.
Okay.
He seems like a whiner. Like, I'm happy to give a blowjob, but I feel like there's going to be whining beforehand. I'm like, no, my interest in your dick has plummeted. I can't recover from this. Yeah, no.
That's fair. That's fair. Dan, 19?
My 19 is Smoke. Who
Poor Smoke.
who is just like Cyrax, except he constantly emits smoke.
I can't believe that puts him lower. You like metal?
I don't want to be coughing and hacking every 3
Yeah,
seconds when I'm
seriously.
trying to bone.
All right, Cam, who's your 19?
So, it's Jade.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I really like the actress in the first movie, or second movie, I can't remember.
Second movie, yeah.
Second movie. Super good at that, but like, you can't decide which side you're on. You can't even get a teenage boy basically to kiss you in the cold. You're not very good at being a seductress in the slightest. And also when you turn evil, you don't look evil. You're just kind of all over the place. I do like cats though.
Okay.
And she's a cat.
Oh, okay.
So keeps her from the bottom, in other words.
Yes.
My 19 is Kano. The only thing I have written down next to Kano is ew, no. He's just very greasy and also amoral. And those two things are bad enough on their own. In combination, I'm not here for it. We are now almost to the bottom. We're at number 20. MeganBob, who's your 20?
My 20 is Goro. I know. The 4 arms thing is good, but it seems like he probably has a really fragile ego.
So disappointed in both of you.
I don't need that. Like, I want them already broken. I don't want to be the one who breaks them. I'm not here to do work.
All right. Dan, who's your 20?
My 20 is Scorpion, who in my mind is just like Smoke, but you're fucking him in literal hell. Which, if we go by the depiction in the first Mortal Kombat movie, is just sort of like a bunch of scaffolding and loose fabric hanging around in some orange lighting.
Sure.
It was the precursor to Constantine. Come on.
I guess it was, yeah.
All right. Cam, who's your 20?
My 20 is Reptile. Because for all the reasons, I mean, I don't think I need to explain this except for, guys, guess what his animality is?
Could it? Wait,
I really
no.
hope it's not a reptile.
It is not.
What? Oh my god, is it a mammal?
Yes.
You have to say it. I gotta know.
It's chimpanzee.
What?
Who are these? What the fuck is Midway doing?
And on top of which, chases the opponent away, the only animality shown not to attack the opponent.
So they're more scared of him when he's a chimpanzee than when he's a dinosaur man who's also a ninja.
Yep.
I mean, a chimpanzee can rip your face off, but I don't understand how a dinosaur doesn't.
Yeah, a reptile can also rip your face off. I've seen him do it.
Oh, this is true.
Incidentally, my 20 is also reptile. Slight appeal to fucking the last member of a species. But he's an insane lizard, guys. He is an insane lizard who will eat you. Like, at any point, that sex could just turn into him eating you. I'm not gonna do it.
Also bad CGI.
Let me tell you something. There's another character on this list who at any time sex could turn into them eating you, and they're gonna be higher for reasons, but I can't do it with Reptile. For this other person, I can.
All right.
We have reached the bottom. We have reached number 21. MeganBob, who is your least fuckable character in Mortal
Johnny
Kombat.
Cage.
Okay.
He is upset that people don't think he is able to do his own fight scenes.
Uh-huh.
One of his quotes is, "I'm so pretty." He makes a fucking movie of the story of his own death and resurrection. That's sex. It is going to make me regret spending the condom on him.
Okay. All right. Dan, who's your 21?
Mine 21 is Sub-Zero, cold hands and cold feet. No thank you.
Dan, we are on the same fucking page.
Perfect.
Because my 21 is also Sub-Zero, because fuck that shit.
No.
There's no chance that the sex is not cold.
I'll be honest, I don't think I could maintain an erection.
No, I couldn't either.
Like, it, yeah.
No, like it's not even like the good kind of cold sex where you're like both cold, but then you get under the covers.
Yeah.
And warm
No,
up.
it's just more cold.
All right.
I would be more interested in fucking him as a polar bear.
I would rather fuck the lizard. All right, this is why we're friends, buddy.
Yeah.
Your agreement that cold is a real boner killer. That's how you met at U of A.
Cam, who is your 21?
My 21 is Sindel.
Okay.
And I actually had to contact Kit about this because I needed to know the female equivalent of Peepums.
Oh, it's Mima, right?
It's Mima. She is the Mima of Mimas. If I do a good job, as Miles pointed out, I will never hear anything again. And, y'all, she turns into a wasp that stings you over and over
Oh my God.
and over. And I'm sorry, Kit, but wasps are the worst.
Wasps are the worst. If I'd known she turned into a wasp, she'd be at 22. We have reached the nadir of our lists. It's time to go back to the top 10. I think Bob is going to take us through the top 10.
Sindel. She's our only mommy on the list. Like, not just because she's Katana's mom, but she also brings that, like, self-centered, ruthless passion
Right.
that's, like, dangerous mommy dom.
Sure.
I don't think you got a safe word with her. But mommy?
Okay. Dan, who's your 10?
My 10 is Sonya Blade. I think if you have sex with Sonya Blade, it's in the back of a military transport vehicle 5 minutes before, like, arriving at a battle scene with, like, you know, Outworld or the Black Dragon or someone. So, like, it's going to be fast, it's going to be intense, and there's, like, every possibility that midway through she has to drop everything so she can kick Baraka in the face or something. So, like, it is, like, objectively speaking, it's not the best sex you'll ever have, but it is going to be extremely memorable.
It's the one scene from Starship Troopers when the guy busted on them and he's like, get your shit ready in 10 minutes. And they realize they're about to fuck and he's like, Make it 20 minutes.
Oh my God. You've just made me go, fuck. All right, fine, Sonya Blade.
I know what it is with you, Bob. You just need a compelling picture painted.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
You need to set the scene.
All right, Cam, who's your 10?
Shao Kahn. Hydra. What those mouths do.
Mm.
All right, my 10's Shiva. She's a 4-armed half-dragon queen, so I'm fine with that. So, y'all put Goro way too low, and Goro's going to be higher on mine. We'll get to it. So I'll have more to say about, like, that stuff when we get to that. But I don't think Shiva would, like, totally commit to the sex. I just don't. I think her mind would be elsewhere. I think she'd be, like, thinking about her, like, other dilemmas and, like, whether or not she's gonna fucking betray Sindel and Shao Kahn or not. And, like, you know, what does she really owe to the Shao Kahn race? I don't know. I just think she's not capable of being present. But she has 4 arms. And she is a half-dragon queen. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, the floor is high. All right. MeganBob, who is number 9 on your list?
Shang Tsung.
Okay.
Goal-driven, amoral, conquering asshole.
Oh, listeners, you can't see this. MeganBob is fluttering their eyelashes as they say this.
Okay. Bad qualities generally. But if his goal is your erotic implosion, like, he's going to do anything to me.
Implosion?
Yeah.
Dan, you're number 9.
My number 9 is Kano.
Wow.
I actually think that Kano is one of the few people on this list who is physically capable of having fun. And again, the whole premise of this is you're into them, they're into you.
Right.
I would much rather have sex with someone who actually, like, could enjoy themselves. I will say the big strike against him is that he's inherently selfish. And so, like, if he gets to the finish line before you do, he will feel no responsibility whatsoever to, like, help you along. Like, you're going to have to finish yourself off. But I think leading up to that point, it's going to be pretty good.
All right, Cam, who's your number 9?
My number 9 is Jax. So, yes, he has some confidence issues, but instead of just getting angry at everyone else, he tries to improve himself. And that's not actually what he needs, but he's willing to try new things, to look for solutions. And then when he realizes he doesn't need those solutions, that it was within him all along.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Also, Lion.
My number 9 is Liu Kang. So, is he a virgin? Yes. Yes, he definitely is. You will have to teach him how to fuck. He is one of the characters where I'm down with that. I think that Liu Kang would, like, be very wide-eyed wonder about the sex, and I'm all right with that. I think he'd feel a little bit guilty afterward because, like Dan said, I think he would be like, but we could have been fighting Outworld, but instead we did this. But, like, I think during, he's just, like, very into it and very like, oh my God, your body, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh,
so,
I mean, and he's not against training. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
If you can sort of, like, angle that.
Yeah. All right, I need 400 hip thrusts now.
He takes direction well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number 8, MeganBob. Who is your number 8?
Shiva.
Okay,
she got that little mohawk. Futch, dream babe. I know nothing about her besides the, like, 4 arms and that little faux hawk. Like, guys, she will cheer me on at the gym and she will hold me tight after boning. I need nothing else.
All right, Dan, your number 8?
My number 8 is Reptile.
What?
Wow, okay.
Now, okay, all right. I have to admit, this one was very tricky for me to figure out. I'm not, as a rule, much of a monster fucker. So, like, I legitimately wasn't even really sure where to start with this guy. So I was wandering around the house, and I mentioned to Kit that I was having trouble placing Reptile. And Kit was like, okay, so what's Reptile's deal? And I kind of, like, explained it. And Kit thought about it for a second, was like, sounds like a pretty good fuck to me. I think that sounds like number 8. So here we are.
The Yelp review was positive.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear more about Reptile when we get to Bob's number 1. All right, Cam, who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Sonya Blade. I have an appreciation for a military woman for various reasons. But Captain Marvel is part of it, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair.
And also, she's kind of interchangeable. In Mortal Kombat Annihilation, that actress almost made me realize and admit and come out of the closet back in the late 90s. Almost got me there.
The one in Annihilation, huh? Interesting.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, Miles.
Yeah.
Miles.
Yeah, she's the better Sonya, for sure.
Better actress by far, and then also yes. Except for the eyebrows.
Better actress I will give you. We'll get to it.
Okay.
All right, my 8 is Kitana. She definitely is very experienced. I think she'd be very good. I think a lot of points about her have already been made. She is sort of vanilla as a character. But I like vanilla. Like, honestly, vanilla's a good flavor. I think Kitana would be kind of like your basic. She's very experienced, been around, knows what she's doing. Fuck. I don't think there's any way you're walking away dissatisfied from that encounter. Big fan.
Yay!
All right. We've reached number 7, MeganBob. Who's your number 7?
Scorpion.
Okay.
He's full of repressed pain and passionately driven. Okay. Now, this is normally a boon for me. However, I will say, the deceased wife thing, I get that the presumption that he's into me. I don't see the world in which he's not at least a little conflicted about it afterwards. And I don't think we can get through that in one session. This is like a lifetime of working through that. And this is a one-night affair. So I think all I could walk away from Scorpion with is like him going, oh, I have more feelings now. And I'm like, well... Thanks.
All right. Dan, who is your 7?
My number 7 is Jade. You got someone with assassin and spy training. So, gonna be very lithe, very flexible, very acrobatic. But she hasn't been raised with all of the expectations of being a royal in the way that Kitana has. And plus, in the video games, she's portrayed as being very kind and very empathetic. Enough not to turn on her best friend when her emperor commands her to. So, I feel like if she wants to make you come, she's going to listen, she's going to be attentive, she's going to make sure that you get taken care of.
Cam, your number 7?
My number 7 is Liu Kang.
Okay.
Y'all, I was born in the 70s, and he has hockey hair.
Yum.
And again, the defense rests.
Also, and I know his animality, he turns into a dragon.
He turns into a dragon. That's the only one we all know.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to bother because you all know.
Yeah.
That was where I was with that.
My number 7 is Mileena. Again, so this is the other character that might eat you while you're fucking her. But I think that, presuming Mileena is into you, that shit would be the wildest, craziest, most balls to the wall sex you've ever fucking had. Just keep the fucking mask on. That's all. The only reason she's down to 7, you gotta keep that thing on. If it slips, we're gonna have some issues. Bob, it's time for number 6.
Reptile!
Ah, okay. Lower than I thought.
He's
That's
a sad lizard man. Guys, I bet he fucks like someone who's trying to outrun his regrets. That is delicious.
Dan, who's your 6?
My 6 is Jax. I feel like Jax is going to be like Sonya, but with actually some room in his schedule. I get the sense that he actually he knows when he needs to turn off his work phone, and just actually kick back and have fun. He would not only be good to have sex with, I also think he'd be good to hang out with. Mm-hmm. So I'm all into that.
All right. Cam, who's your 6?
My 6 is Nightwolf. Nightwolf is a wolf. He's got his shit together.
Do they choose their own animalities, or is it like you're assigned one at birth? How does that fucking work?
I'll tell you what, the other animality I know off the top of my head, I don't think Scorpion chose his animality.
No, he definitely didn't.
I'm sure Cam will mention that.
I have to.
You have to, yeah. We would kick you off the podcast if you didn't.
My number 6 is Goro. Big feels.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Goro, again, he's a fucking half-dragon. He's huge. He's got 4 arms. 4 arms has all kinds of applications. I'm not talking about, just he can bring all 4 arms to bear during the sex, which is true. He could be fucking you with 2 arms and then be doing other things with the other 2 arms. He could also be, folding laundry with the other 2 arms. He could be getting shit done while you have sex, which is huge for me, personally.
Oh, do you have 2 small children?
It's amazing, I do.
He would be a great stay-at-home dad.
Oh
yeah,
my
he
God.
really would be.
All right.
I think I totally endorse the cuddles afterward. Those would be amazing. But the other thing about Goro, the thing that really pushes him up to this point for me, is that I know that we're only using the characters from like the first 3 games, but you can bring in a little bit of the later games in terms of where those characters go. And Goro, for me, has like the best character development in the entire game. Like, I love fucking Goro. Goro is like, he gets defeated by Liu Kang, and he gets like defeated by Liu Kang again.
Oh.
And he has like he's a big kind of like inferiority complex about it. And he's like, I have to go beat Liu Kang so I can feel better about myself. And then he kind of like stops and thinks about it. And he's like, you know what would actually be better for me to do is get involved in local politics.
Oh, wow.
And like figure out how I can act in the best interest of my people. And he becomes a fucking hero and he's great. And I love Goro so much. And also I love the puppet from the first movie. And it's just yes,
Oh
Goro's
my
huge for
God.
me. All right, it's top 5 time, y'all. It's top 5 time. You're gonna have to defend these takes. MeganBob, who's your number 5?
Mileena,
Okay. That's very
Miles.
defensible, yes.
you're a fucking coward. Take that mask off. If I don't feel those teeth pressing against my neck during this, I have not fucked Mileena. And I came here to fuck Mileena.
Bob, my number 5 is also Mileena.
All right.
This might be the first time that you and I have matched on more than one on one of these. Maybe it might actually be the first time we've matched on anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with Mortal Kombat. Anyway, Mileena in my mind is like kind of all the things I said about Kano. Like I kind of see her as being something of like a party girl
Yeah,
when
she'd be fun.
when it comes
Yeah.
to sex. But like unlike Kano, who has no interest in seeing you climax, I think that Mileena would make sure that you do because like as a way of proving herself superior to you. And look, man, that's fine with me.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. Cam, who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Goro.
Yes.
First off, he has no animality.
Oh.
He is the animal inside him.
That's right.
Second, they had puppets for him, and that's awesome.
Puppets are great.
And it just makes me happy. It's like, it was a simpler time, guys. It was a simpler time. Also, it's like you have 4 arms. It's like having a threesome with all unicorn bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5 is another big feels. And it's Sonya Blade. She's not my type. The military thing doesn't do it for me. The potential of being blown up when she kisses me doesn't do it for me. She was gonna be low. But here's the thing. Mortal Kombat, the first movie, came out in 1995.
Here it is.
All right.
I was 10 years old. I'm sure I was like maybe a couple of years later when I started renting it on DVD like every day. And look, I'm sorry. Bridget Wilson in that movie is unbelievably hot. I will hear no arguments to anyone. This was like part of my sexual awakening was Sonya in that movie. The one and so far only time I have ever written a fanfic
Ooh.
for any reason beyond like our Patreon or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just a fanfic for me. It involved Sonya Blade from the first Mortal Kombat movie. No, nobody will ever read it. Don't ask me.
Damn it.
No.
I was like, what's the Patreon level for hard choices to get there?
Everyone, MJ Schneiderman on Twitter, blow up this man's
You
mentions.
fucking
Yo,
do what you
yo.
want. Nobody's ever reading that fanfic.
Was it Sonya you?
It was not,
Okay.
but that is as far into it as I will go. Thank you very much. We're moving on.
No.
No, we're moving on from this. All right. Number 4, MeganBob. Who's number 4 for you?
Jade.
Okay.
She's described as sarcastic, patronizing, and cocky. She says good boy to Baraka. Like, all the ingredients are there for, like, a shoved up against the table, hand grabbing your hair. Like, that kind of fuck. I am pressing the yes button repeatedly.
You are Daniel Bryaning this thing.
I am.
All right. Daniel Bryan. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Johnny Cage.
Okay.
And Bob is giving me a look.
Okay.
And I'll admit, I wrote him off at first.
All right.
Like, you know, he seems like he's the kind of, empty-headed Hollywood type who, like, talks a big game and promises a good time that he can't possibly deliver on. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start looking at the bottom of the list. But then I legitimately thought about it. His whole thing is he's not just an actor who pretends to know martial arts, but then, like, relies on stuntmen. He's an actor who, like, is actually really good at martial arts, but no one believes he's as good at martial arts as he actually is. So if he's also an actor who puts forth this facade of, like, being a good time sex machine, I have no reason to doubt that he's actually that. Right. So it just makes sense to me that he would also be very good.
Okay. All right.
Cam, who's your number 4?
So it's Kung Lao, and he might have been higher, but he's a cheetah, so he, but let's be honest. Everybody's crazy about a sharp-dressed man.
Brutal. All right. My number 4 is Scorpion. Give me that tortured, wounded, vengeful soul, MeganBob. I'm with you on that one. Also, we have canonically established in the Smash Fiction podcast that Scorpion's butt was born of just, like, millennia of doing squats in hell.
True.
So, like, that thing is worth the price of admission in and of itself. Scorpion, great character, love him, would totally fuck his pain away.
Aww.
MeganBob, it's time for your number 3.
Sub-Zero.
Okay.
Okay. I'm getting looks now. Okay, one.
Hey, you can have him, buddy.
Yeah, do you like being cold? That's fine.
Temperature play can be fun, but okay, so yeah, seems sexually competent, blah, 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 blah. He is extremely deadpan serious, and that is weirdly a turn on for me. Like, I want to get under his skin and just be playful as he, like, just looks at me like, what's wrong with you? That is fucking delightful.
Yeah, that's very much the dynamic of my marriage, so I understand
yes,
that a lot.
Exactly.
All right, Dan, who's your number 3?
Big feels. Shang Tsung.
Ooh,
wow.
Baby.
I thought for sure that Shang Tsung was going to take the top spot because, in theory, if he's able to turn into any of these characters, then he should, like, take that spot pretty easily, you would think. He's also the kind of person who loves to flaunt his power, like, show off how good he is. So I think he would kind of get off on using, like, not only the techniques of all the warriors that he's eaten the souls of and everything, but also just, like, weird ancient Outworld sex techniques that no one has seen in millennia. So all that's great. He's not in the top spot, though, because he's inherently selfish. And when you eat other people's souls, just 'cause, you don't strike me as the kind of person who's especially invested in, like, actually making a sex partner happy. Like, he's kind of doing it for himself. He might accidentally make me happy just from how good he inherently is, but, like, that's not going to be his goal. And so I feel like that, in the end, that just holds him back just enough to keep him out of, in my case, out of the top 2.
I'm so proud of you.
Why is that?
Because you're fucking villains. I'm just happy.
All right, Cam, who's your number 3?
My number 3 is Katana. She's going to be amazing at burlesque, if nothing else.
That's true.
Fan dance.
I will be her fangirl anytime.
Oh,
and her animality, guys. And I took this from the wiki. They just used the name of the animal for every single one except for this one. Nasty Bunny.
Oh.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, no, that really is like the bunny from Holy Grail. I remember that now. All right, my number 3 is Nightwolf. He is a stereotype. My thought about it is that Nightwolf is in the game so little. Like, he's actually not really part of the storyline at all, and the same is true of the films. He's presented as a stereotype because they don't actually know who Nightwolf is. And if you talk about Nightwolf, he's very spiritual. He's a historian. He's a spiritual historian. He's all about, like, his tribe and, like, he's ecologically oriented. And also, like, Nightwolf is one of the only people in Mortal Kombat who never switches sides. Like, he never goes from being good to evil at any point. So, like, yeah, like, let's fucking fuck Nightwolf under the stars, and then we'll talk about history afterward. And, like, I'm totally into it.
That does sound pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Top 2 time, MeganBob. Who's number 2?
Big feels.
Okay.
Kano.
Wow.
All right, hold on. I gotta turn my chair around.
Yeah, you need to see the
Y'all
new
are
movie
dumb.
is what you need,
Okay.
MeganBob.
1. Yeah, Trash Boy. The filthiest cigarette stale beer fuck available on this list. However, I do bet he is annoyingly good at sex. And I bet he's a fucking talker. And that could really go either way. But if you have never fucked a trash boy before, there is a secret sauce. They are trash.
Uh-huh.
I
don't think that's a secret. It's in the name.
You can be your most appalling self, and it doesn't fucking matter. You do not need to impress them. They are garbage. Who cares? If you, like, accidentally shove them in the face or something, you're like, I'm not going to apologize, nor am I going to stop fucking you for this. This is over. Like, if you burp during sex or whatever, you're like, this is the ride you're on, pal. You are garbage. I don't care. It is amazing. You can do your worst. They will eat it up with a fucking spoon because they're trash. And it's great.
Okay. Do you want to turn the chair back around? Or
Yeah,
are
I'll
you
turn
gonna
the chair back around. Since I've dropped this knowledge on it.
That's right. Now I need a minute. I need a minute to process. All right, Dan. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Raiden. I, historically on the show, enjoy envisioning the likely scenario for sexual encounters with these characters. I think Raiden takes you up to, like, some kind of cloud palace with like all these ancient artifacts and stuff.
Okay.
And as far as, like, the actual sex is concerned, I don't think he's especially, like, creative or daring, but, like, he's demonstrated a millennia-long love of the human race. So he loves you, and he knows what he needs to do to get you to where you need to go. Like, I don't think it's possible that sex could be bad.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Kind of curious to see who number 1 is now, because what's better than that? Cam, who's your number 2?
Shiva,
Okay.
Man.
destroy me. Destroy me, Shiva. Because everything you said about a garbage guy, MeganBob, Shiva. She can do anything to you she wants. And she's into you. Which, yes. And it's a goddess. So stamina. And 4 arms, no unicorn. Giant scorpion.
There it is.
Oh!
Note that is not Scorpion's animality.
No, it is not. My number 2 is Kung Lao. He's kind of pacifist. I mean, I know he's in a fighting game, but, like, he's as much of a pacifist as you can be in Mortal Kombat. Like, he's got that sense.
Listen, if my hat kills you, it doesn't count.
He has a cool hat. The idea that he could have been champion but didn't want to be is one that I'm really drawn to. The whole thing with, like, his rivalry with Liu Kang, like how jealous he is of Liu Kang, that to me is like a product of later games that I refuse to accept as canon.
No.
He is such a sweet guy. Beyond the razor hat that he kills people with. He's such a sweet guy, Kung Lao is.
We're grading on a curve. So.
Yeah, exactly.
He's killing beings that want to kill Earth and small children.
Yeah, and, like, the person I want to fuck is absolutely the person, under most circumstances, I think, the person that I would want to fuck is the person who would say, no, thank you, I don't need the glory, I don't need to be the champion, I need to help other people get better. That is my kind of sexy right there. And Kung Lao was very nearly number 1. So he's got almost a 1B in this case. But since we can't do that, he's number 2 on my list. Which means it is time for the number 1. Bob, dare I ask, who's number 1 on your list?
Raiden.
Okay.
He's a thunder people.
I guess, wasn't Thor number 1 for you too?
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's like,
It's
okay.
like if Thor was a Peepups.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. But, like, he's got this whole secret corruption and this awareness of his own fallibility. And he's got this like vengeful, passionate side, not really in the movies. And also he's got that like craggy ass face in the newer animation. And I want to ride that lightning so bad. But also like, okay, if I do end up with the Christopher Lambert version, like, fine, I guess we just fucking get high and watch Laverne and Shirley. This is not a bad outcome. I'll take it.
Does he do the little, like, the twisty shooting move during sex? Like, does he just, like...
the scream?
Yeah, does he just, like, spinning shoot right into your vagina?
Well, look, I'm trying to find out. I'm doing the research.
All right, Dan, it's time for your number one. Lay it on us.
My number one is Shiva.
Okay.
To start with, just as good of a cuddler as Goro. That is huge. She also has this savage side that I think would make for an absolutely unforgettable night. But because she's a playable character instead of a boss, like, she's not like fucking a train the way that Goro and Shao Kahn are. And it wouldn't take all night to finish her off. So, like, in other words, I'd actually get to see what Shao Kahn's sex is like without feeling like I'd fallen down several consecutive flights of stairs. So
I'll accept this logic.
Yeah. I don't think you can pass this one up.
I was wondering why it was so important to you that Shiva be on this list, and now I have my answer.
I mean, look, I'm not taking Motaro over her, man.
I just thought maybe we have the one Shao Kahn and one Centaur, but I'm okay with two Shao Kahn. That's fine.
8 arms, Miles. 8 arms of love.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that threesome would be fucking amazing.
Holy shit.
That threesome would be the best because you could get a break. Like, they could fuck each other for a while, and then when you're ready, you jump back in.
Honestly, I think it would
Go
take...
to a fucking orgy!
Honestly, I think it would take both you and Shiva to finish off Goro.
You have to, like, call in reinforcements later on to help.
It's like the whole call in the military.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
This boner's not going to take care of itself.
Cam, who's your number one?
Okay, so big feels. No, play it again. Big feels.
Okay.
One more time. Big feels. So as you might have followed along, folks, there's one animality that should have come up already, but hasn't because it's Scorpion. Bob, guess what Scorpion's animality is?
Is it a badger?
No. It's a penguin.
What the fuck?
Scorpion turns into a penguin and lays an egg under the opponent, which explodes and takes the opponent with it. That alone is Big Feels number 1.
Okay.
Big Feels number 2. He is played in the most recent movie by Hiroyuki Sanada, who, oh my god,
buddy,
whatever he wants me to do, I will do for the end of time.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that one.
This is a fact.
And number 3, when I was in high school, that's when the first Mortal Kombat came out. And there was a boy who would say, "Get over here," and pretend to throw out the scorpion thing to get me to come over to hug me.
Aww.
And sometimes other things. And so I do have to say, because he said he's going to listen to this, Bill, you're my number 1 on this list for old time's sake.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, it's the only time that's ever going to happen. I'm not a sweet person.
You are deep down inside, I can tell. That's hard to follow that one, but I am going to have to. And we're doing a little bit more big feels. Because my number 1 is Johnny Cage.
Oh, okay.
So, Dan basically laid it out. Like, Dan kind of laid out the case for Johnny Cage being at the higher end of this list. I actually didn't realize that Dan was going to rank him that high. I had a feeling that everybody was going to rank Johnny Cage pretty low, because my first instinct was to rank him low. And like you said, Dan, If your first instinct is to rank him low, that means he's high. if everyone thinks he's bad at a thing, that means he's good at it. It's the transitive property of
Kicking,
acting to fucking. And so, like, that is absolutely, Dan, my same reasoning. What takes him over the top for me, beyond the fact that he's Johnny Cage, and I've always gone to bat for him, as you know.
Yep, many times.
In terms of, like, the setting, in terms of what the rest of the day would be like, you're walking around, like, getting to talk to movie people, and not, like, boring Hollywood movie people. Johnny Cage's films are schlock. Johnny Cage makes B movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get to fucking hang out with, like, really interesting, creative people doing practical effects, doing their own costuming, working on low budgets. That would just be really fun to me. And also, and the most important thing, everything we're doing in this episode so far is extrapolation, right? Like,
Wait, what? Okay, where's this going?
One time Miles fell through a portal.
these are all fighting characters. We never see any of them fuck. Not even in the movies, we never see any of them fuck. Right? Johnny Cage is the one character in Mortal Kombat who, canonically, and you see it on screen, touches other people's genitals. Because he does the genital punch.
Oh, that's true. He does.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
go on.
So he knows where they are, is what you're saying?
More than I can say for anybody else. This is the one character who has demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt that he knows what junk is. That he knows where the genitals are located.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Everyone else thinks it's near the elbow.
So yes, that is just the cherry on top. The fact that you have this certainty, this, like, you know, sense of security with Johnny Cage, that he at least knows something about what he's doing. Anyway.
Wow.
I mean, his splits are very impressive.
They are
Right? He's
extremely
flexible.
impressive.
Okay, it is time to begin the forbidden list combining process. But while we do that, it is also time to test your boners. Get your shin kicks ready, and let's unpack that.
Okay, Cam, you said penguin for Scorpion as though that was going to reveal the secrets of the universe about how Scorpion fucks. And I felt like you knew something about penguins that I don't know. And I need to... What secret forbidden knowledge do you possess about penguins?
Penguins are just good animals. And
Okay.
they just are. They're very supportive of each other. They're very kind to each other. They have strong bonds. They take care of other penguins young. And if you watch the new movie, that's not actually that far off from the character.
Aww.
MeganBob, you would have such feels with the new movie.
I saw one clip of him and was like, well, I'm certainly swept away in how determined and sad you look.
Indeed.
All right, you've taught me something about penguins. I'll accept this logic.
Miles, I have to ask.
Yes.
You and I were surprisingly on the same page about wanting to fuck Johnny Cage.
Yes.
And about our specific reasons why. With one exception. When I see a man punch another man squarely in the balls as hard as possible, my first thought is not, oh, yes, please. That increases my desire to have him touch my balls, perhaps in a similar way. Now, I don't want to kink shame you if, like, you're into like torture or that sort of thing, but I'm just curious as to why that specifically was a turn on for you.
It's just, I was looking for something in the genital region that happened during the Mortal Kombat franchise. I was like, do any of these characters at any point interact in any way with the genital area? And only one of them did. Now, obviously, it wasn't the only reason that he's up there. I don't want him to punch me in the balls. I would very much prefer he didn't do that. I just think it was indicative of the fact that Johnny Cage is a more fundamentally sexual being than any of these other characters because he glances at them. Dan, I sort of just to come back on you for this thing.
Yeah.
More general thing. What do you have against long sessions? Because every time you brought up stamina, it was like it was a bad thing.
Well, I don't have a problem with long sessions, but like, I feel like there has to be an ebb and flow.
Okay.
Like if you're going to go for more than, I don't know, an hour or two,
Uh-huh.
like you gotta pace yourself. You know, you can't just go in all the time, 100%, full steam ahead for the whole night. And like, I was thinking about Goro and Shao Kahn, the way they are in when you fight them in the games, and they are overwhelming. That like, it's just charge forward, hit you as hard as possible over and over and over again. And it takes forever to beat them. And so I'm like,
Right.
yeah. No.
Right,
you want to
right.
take your time with stuff? That's fine. But like, I gotta take a sec to drink some fluids at some point.
That's fair. While we're on the subject of Goro, MeganBob.
Mm-hmm.
Megan Monster Fucker Bob.
Mm-hmm.
The giant four-armed monster is not just low on your list, MeganBob. He's number 20.
I know.
He's second from the bottom. What the fuck? Explain yourself.
Okay.
He's a fragile ego? What is that?
I think it's that I want my ideal monster thinks they're a monster. I want a hideout in the woods away from society monster.
Oh.
Not as much the fact that they're just a monster is pretty good, but to me, I didn't even think of him as a monster because within the world, he's not a monster. So like to compare to Mass Effect, I have some of the monster fucker for some of them, but there are contextual reasons why they have that place in that world of like the Krogans are considered aggressive, threatening, and not just that, but like a threat to this like stability of the galaxy. And that's why there's horrible things are done to their people. And that's not really the role that Goro has. So Goro's just like, to me, just a guy with 4 arms. He doesn't feel like a monster. I mean, he's got monster things, but my monster fucker radar didn't go off.
Okay. All right. I feel like it's more because like he comes from a species that you might call monsters, but they're not monsters within their species. So he doesn't have any reason to like isolate himself or like kind of, you prefer the characters who...
He's very not wounded.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
He's never hidden underneath the opera populaire. You know? This is a real
Critical.
problem for me.
Would you be more or less attracted to the Phantom if he had 4 arms?
It's a lateral move, honestly.
At some point, like, you hit critical horny mass, and then anything beyond that point is just, like, it doesn't move the needle for you? Like, you're already way in the red with Eric?
I mean, yes, but I also think it has pluses and minuses inherently in the 4 arms thing. Because I'm like, you're going to look weird to me in a way that I'm not necessarily into, but you will have 4 arms. So I'm like, it just kind of like averages out in a way that you would not expect having 4 arms to average out.
MeganBob.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been with anyone who has like served in the military?
I have, yes, actually.
So...
Sorry.
So...
It was pretty good.
What is about the military? Because when I went through my divorce, I was in DC, and oddly enough, there were quite a few military folks around. And I salute them for their service because they are very good at serving. And I feel like you left Sonya Blade on the table, and I feel bad about that for you.
Oh, wow. I'm being pitied. Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
All right. Okay. I got nothing but determination, and determination is great, but determination in a way that gave me nothing else.
Because she lost her partner. Kano killed her partner, and she is heartbroken.
Let me tell you, that movie had no goddamn interest in her character development in any fucking way. And, the game lore did not help me in any way to go see Sonya Blade as a full-fledged human being. She is the Cammy, but for Mortal Kombat, the end, is how that was presented to me. I'm like, well, I mean, Cammy's at least got a British accent. What the fuck Sonya Blade got?
Cam, I want to ask you something, and this is not me coming at you, like, this is not me interrogating your choices. I would like to invite you to share your perspective, because of all of us, you ranked Shao Kahn the highest, and I would like for you to paint for us a picture of kind of the high points of what a night with Shao Kahn would be like.
Yeah.
What does this look like to you? Like, what about this is appealing to you?
Read me your fanfic.
So imagine... He enters the room, and he throws those French doors open,
French doors. Interesting.
No, all right, I'm in.
There's no way he comes in a regular door. He has to throw them both with both hands. It has to happen that way. And they almost thunder off their hinges because he's ready for you. And he's going to conquer you. He's going to come in with that bone helmet. And he's going to take you. And even if he fails, which he will, because he's Shao Kahn, you trigger that animality and you get mouths all over the place. Come on.
Miles,
Yeah.
I'm just a little surprised.
Okay.
Okay, you put Raiden at 13.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's like game Raiden, which is its own thing.
Yeah.
And then there's whatever the fuck the films are doing. The films paint Raiden as like a weird itinerant stoner. I am shocked that you are not like, fuck yes, this guy, we can hang out and eat Pop-Tarts and like blaze it. And then, like, I don't know, fuck on a couch. I'm just really surprised.
That's a fair critique.
You're prepared to concede some points on this?
I want to hang out with Raiden. Like, especially Raiden from the first movie. I'll chill out with him. We can get high. We can watch whatever. Like Aqua Teen or something. I don't know. But I don't really want to fuck him. And like, I think part of it is because a lot of like the nuances and interesting stuff in his character kind of like happens way late in the game. It's very recent shit where it's like, oh my god, it's Dark Raiden and all this stuff. And like, until then, I just kind of think of him as like this kind of nebulous, like, he's just the guy who hangs around and is like, fighters, you must go forward and I will help you. And like, I don't know. I don't get much sexy vibes off him. I just plus the shock, the static. I can't, I don't know. He's my kind of dude, but he's definitely not my kind of fuck.
Oh, you don't want to fuck your weed dealer, huh?
No, I really don't. Wow, no. Like, no, I don't have any now. My weed dealer now is the fucking, the weed shop. But before, no. No, none of them. In fact, well, maybe that one, actually. But not the others. All right, so, Dan, I believe the mutant is complete.
It is. We might have put a little too much Tarkatan in this one. It's giving me a big old smile right now. But let's see what it says.
Let's get it.
Starting at the bottom, at number 17 is Cyrax.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
That makes sense to me.
Yep. Next up at number 16 is Smoke.
Oh.
Number 15, look, I placed her low. I'm kind of surprised she ended up this low, is Sindel.
Yeah, actually, honestly, like, I was kind of surprised nobody came after me for her in Let's Unpack That because I know she should be higher. Like, I regretted not placing her higher immediately.
I mean, Cam put her at 21 and I put her at 17.
Yeah,
so,
well,
you know,
fair
like,
There's only so much to be done.
yeah. All right. Number 14, despite the best efforts of me and Miles, is Sub-Zero. Number 13 is Shao Kahn. Number 12 is Reptile.
How? What? God damn it, Bob.
Oh, it's because of Bob.
Why do
Well,
you...
also because of Kit via me.
Also,
That's
I want to
right.
say, whenever I read the species name, I totally thought it was Zaterran, like the fucking rice.
Now I want to see a reptile with a Cajun accent.
Oh, that would be amazing. Number 11 is Liu Kang.
Okay.
Number 10 is Kano.
Not high enough.
Ugh.
Well,
enough.
number 9 is Goro.
Okay.
Number 8 is Jax. Number 7 is Jade. We have a two-way tie for number 6 with Sonya Blade and Shang Tsung. Number 5 is Katana. Number 4, sorry Miles, is Johnny Cage.
That's okay. It's higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and that's with Bob's number 21 dragging him
Yeah,
down.
I know,
So
I
pretty
know.
good. Number 3 is Scorpion. We have what I think is an unprecedented 4-way tie for second with Raiden, Kung Lao, Mileena, and Nightwolf.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some combo.
Yeah. And then finally at number 1 is Shiva.
Okay. Nobody ranked her at the bottom. So
No one ranked her at the bottom. The lowest she got was a 10 from you, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
So that is our list, which means also that we have the median, the true center of fuckability in the Mortal Kombat universe. And that is Jade.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
not upset about it.
No, I think that all makes a lot of sense.
Jade is like kind of like very baseline sexy, and like she's kind of got, you can read a lot into it if you want to.
And you know what? I'm glad we got a ninja
Yeah.
in the middle. That feels right. Like this universe is so saturated with palette swap ninjas that like if our middle spot wasn't taken up by one, it would feel a little off, you know?
Yeah, I think it makes sense as sort of the composite of everything, because as you're going through this whole list, you're going like, well, fuck, I don't know. How do I rank these characters? Because, like, how do they differ? Well, one's yellow. Like,
All right, so that's our list, everyone.
All right.
That's the definitive ranking of Mortal Kombat characters by fuckability.
and it is now time to talk about the fuckability of the Mortal Kombat universe itself. If fictional universes were like Mortal Kombat realms, how hard would you be trying to conquer this one in a subconscious effort to reform the one boner?
Hey, I heard you pronounce conquer with a K, and I appreciate you there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep. In the notes. So let's go back the other way. Cam, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fuckable is the Mortal Kombat universe to you?
Like a 1.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It's COVID all over again, and, pickings are slim for a single person out on the streets, and still it's a 1.
You know what, though? A lot of these people do wear masks all the time.
That's
That
a
is
good
true.
point.
That
That's
is
a good
true.
point. Dan, how fuckable is Mortal Kombat for you?
Honestly, it's like a 3. Like, I'm kind of in the same boat as you and Cam, where, like, I was exposed to this at a young enough age that, like, I had a big crush on Katana for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, looking back on it, despite the fact that there's maybe 2 shirts among all these characters, like 2 full shirts, I'm just like, they don't bring much in terms of personality. They're just here to, like, punch each other. Like, I can appreciate a well-sculpted body, but, like, I could get that in a lot of places and get a personality on top of it. So it doesn't really do much for me.
MeganBob?
I think maybe a 4, 3, 4.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of lows here, but there are a handful of highs that are interesting and fun. I'm going to land on a 3. It's got a God of Thunder. It's got a sad reptile man. So I've got a little bit of, it's a golden corral. There's a lot of bullshit, but the roles are okay.
Sure, yeah.
I love you so much.
Wait, who would you say is the role of Mortal Kombat?
God. For me, probably Kano.
Yeah. He seems like he's a little too spicy to be a role. Like, I feel like a role is something that's
He's
soft and dependable. And it's
then
like,
that's a Raiden.
But Raiden, wait, you put a role at number 1? I guess.
This is falling into a whole other conversation.
I feel like this metaphor is falling apart very quickly. Maybe we
Join
should
us
move on.
next time for Hard Choices Golden Corral.
Honestly, that's an 8. That's an 8 universe.
Boy, you want to talk about a stamina match.
Guys, that fucking soft serve, though.
Miles, how many boners you got over there?
Yeah, like 2. Like,
Yeah.
I talked to think about Bridget Wilson and the Sonya Blade thing, so that's like popping up, and Johnny Cage obviously is popping it up. But while I'm talking about this, I'd like to just go into what we learned today. Because the thing I learned is that Mortal Kombat isn't sexy.
Yeah.
And that is not something that I thought going in. Like, this is by far the lowest numbers we've given.
Yeah, 2.25 is the average boners.
Yeah. And I would not have called that. And I think it's because, like, I got into Mortal Kombat as a kid, and it seemed sexy, and, like, it was sexy to me at the time. Like, at the time, I thought it was hot. And I think, we're all, like, 30, 40 some people right now, and looking back on this thing that is made specifically for, like, horny teenagers, it's like, no. Like, this is not very sexy at all.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that coming. My list, I would consider the top 6, maybe.
Yeah.
But getting below that, I don't know, man.
I mean, for me, I found out that I am not quite as shallow as I thought I was.
Okay.
That's always nice.
I like it.
Because I had to depend on the animalities to kind of like grade some of these people.
You reach through what they looked like and find the animal they were inside.
Pretty much, I was just like, I don't know. I don't like porcupines? Question mark? Like it wasn't just like, oh, that character, that Jade actress, very, very pretty. But nah.
I think in doing this, I discovered that I arguably have been doing hard choices wrong prior to this.
Oh.
Because, like, before, the perspective I approached it from was, imagine you're in a bar, and these 21 characters are all in the bar. Like, who do you go home with first? Like, who would be your first pick to go home with? And then you, like, work your way down the list. But I think that that's basing too much stuff on physical attractiveness. So, like, and to be honest, if I had done it that way, I think that I would have ranked the Mortal Kombat universe higher in terms of my boner scale.
Right.
But doing it this way, I kind of took the opposite approach. What I thought is, I have sex with all of these characters, and then I have to objectively say how good it was. And I feel like that's a little bit closer to our remit as this podcast, such as it is. And I feel like that let me be a little bit more honest with myself, you know, kind of get past the shallowness, get past the fact that, like, I find Katana really hot. And it's like, but really, really, what is this like? So I think I've taken a step forward in this particular show.
Aww. I also was struck by how unsexy it was because I did not play any of these games growing up, nor did I do the, like, arcade ones or anything. It was always the game that was, like, a little bit scary to me and kind of gross. And I didn't know a whole lot about it. I was just like, oh, that's for the teenagers with the jean jackets. So that's not for me.
You were saying this in your late 20s, I imagine.
And so I really expected it to live up to those kind of, you know, it's going to be tawdry and feel illicit and all this other stuff. And then I got into it like, this is nothing. What am I looking at? And it is the idea of what sexiness is. It has nothing to, there's nothing holding this up. But the other thing that I was really struck by was how the moment I saw that Sub-Zero doesn't really know what a joke is and is like very deadpan, was like, oh, I can annoy the shit out of him and he will tolerate it and it's gonna be so much fun.
You know, that's interesting, Bob, because I just listened to the Cats episode where you turned down a threesome because you didn't want to feel like you were going to get pranked. And so
Bob doesn't want to be on the other side of that.
Yeah. But Bob is okay with being the one in psychological control of the situation.
Oh,
like, he'll sign on to that.
100%. But I think it's also for me that I know what my limits are as far as, like, I would not be mean.
Yeah.
And I would...
That's true.
Yeah.
You would do just, like, wholesome stuff.
Yes, exactly. Like, there would be a lot of, like, nose booping.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And a Sub-Zero's not going to know what the fuck to do with a nose boop.
Like, Sharon hates it when I dance in the grocery store. Like, the grocery store, like, some music come on, and I'll just, like, start, like, dancing through the other aisle, and she's just like, I'm with you right now. Do you understand this is embarrassing to me?
Oh, but that's like, then you have to do it more, though.
Of course.
Because you're like, but you love me, and if I didn't do it, you'd be sad inside.
And she's admitted that, too.
Yes, exactly. It's like the things that drive you the fucking nuts the most about your partner are often the things that you're like, but if you didn't do it, I'd kind of miss it. Even though I fucking wish you wouldn't do it.
It's very strange.
And you're like, I don't understand how I feel about this, but I'm angry about it now.
It gets even worse as things happen in life to take it away from you. You miss it a lot.
Well, but see, here's the thing. Mortal men and women defending their own world is not about death, but life.
About life.
Oh my god.
Such a nerd, I love you.
They never fucking explain that. I've always wondered.
It is either about water or dicks. This is the two things that the movie suggests to us involve the source of life. But no, we are not given any canonical answers to a lot of things, I feel like.
Guys, I thought it was, you're saving the world, so you're saving lives by killing these people. I thought it was pretty
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
flimsy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weak.
I think they're just trying to get around the fact that, like, the game was known for being very brutal and all about
Yeah.
killing people. So,
It's so funny to me that this game was so popular so fast that they made a movie 3 years after the first game come out.
Yeah.
And that just speaks to how fucking 90s all of this shit is and how much it didn't age well.
Well, this has been great. We may have been disappointed by the boners we did or did not find in the various realms of Mortal Kombat, but I'm not disappointed by the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. I appreciate all of you, and we appreciate everybody listening to this. Hope you're not too disappointed.
I think, though, as you listen to this and you reflect back on your own Mortal Kombat feelings, I think that you may find you too have come to a place of growth and go, yeah, Katana is very hot, but also, man, what's there?
Rather fuck Shiva.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know, that's where we are.
Being in love with Katana, those are the actions of a boy.
Go on.
Being in love with Shiva,
Uh-huh.
that's how you know you've crossed over. into
Crossed
being a
over
man.
to adulthood because you think forearms and muscles are sexy.
And I'm telling you here, in my mid-30s, I am now a man.
Oh, man.
And on that note, let us go around and plug the things, what we have to plug. Miles,
Yeah.
what would you like to plug?
Bob, you and I do a podcast together, a different podcast that's not this one. It's called The Next Wrestling Fan. The NXT Wrestling Fan is about wrestling. We go through the old episodes of the old NXT show. We do talk a lot about boners.
We
I
do
say,
talk a lot
especially
about boners.
as we record this, the most recent episode that just came out is called Lollipop Blowjob. And so we talk a lot about this kind of thing on that episode.
You'll have a dedicated recurring segment just about butts. So
Yes.
yeah.
That's
We
true,
do.
we do. It's factually correct. You should go listen to that. And then you should go and listen to the Unspoiled podcast as well, because I'm also part of that. We're currently covering the Mistborn series. When we get done with the Mistborn series, we're going to cover the fucking Suki Stackhouse vampire books.
Yes!
And
I've been begging for this to happen for years.
Dan, what do you have to plug?
You can find me over on the podcast Garden Plots with Skeletor, which Bob and I also do together.
Mhm.
Bob just reaches out their hands and grabs their various podcasting friends and pulls them together and makes them talk about who they want to smooch.
Pretty
But
much.
over on Garden Plots, it's a audio drama comedy / gardening show / whatever Bob and the other two writers feel like putting out into the world that particular fortnight. I do the voice of Skeletor. I also edit the show. I'm mainly along for the ride in terms of it, of the creative direction of the show, but it's really fun to work on. I think it's really fun to listen to, and I think y'all would enjoy it if you're not already listening.
Last week I listened to it 3 times in a row.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
I love
so
how
good, guys.
Our Smash Fiction
Thank
crew
you.
split off and did 2 whole separate podcasts. We still can't succinctly describe either of them.
Nope. Well, one of these days I'll have something that's coherent, but today is not that day.
And I do this show, and we have a Patreon, and you can go there and you can get all the juicy extra outtakes, all the stuff that gets left on the cutting room floor. You can go get all of those pressed into, the finest of delicious sausage that I put out for you.
Mm.
There's also voting stuff to help me make decisions. And we have some goals. So guys, I'd really like to do a mailbag episode where everybody just throws a couple of characters into the hat, and I gather together, I bully together some of my friends, and we sit down and try to make sense of how Don Corleone stacks up against Sonic the Hedgehog.
Wow.
And I think that would be amazing, but I have to meet the goal because I'm a very slow and meticulous editor, and it takes me for freaking ever to do it. And so your financial help to go, okay, I don't have time to chop my own cabbage. This is the help I require. You can save me those cabbage chopping minutes, dear listener. I thank you for your support in this time of needing a vegetable. thank you so much for coming along on this ride. And
Coming.
ah,
Ride.
Over here.
Thank you for getting over here and cuddling with us.
yeah. Da-da-da. Wait, I can't do the song. How does it go? How does it do?
That was the stupidest thing.
This has been Hard Choices. If you want to show your support and get even more goofs from behind the scenes, visit patreon.com/hard choices and become a patron. You'll get exclusive voting rights and participation in every weird new thing we do. If you like the show, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review on the podcatcher of your choice. It shows people what's fun about the show and makes it easier for others to find it too. Hard Choices is produced by MeganBob. Our theme song is Funk Me by Soundroll. This piece and all music used in this production is licensed through Upbeat. You can find details in our show notes and listen to more great tunes at upbeat.io, spelled UPPBEAT.io. The Hard Choices logo is designed by Mulkerin. If you'd like to get into touch with us, look for the Smash Fiction Fan Faction on Facebook and join the conversation. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. You're a peach!
You know, Dan, I have, in the past, I have poo-pooed the idea that you and I shouldn't be on these episodes together because our lists would be too similar. But there are some very glaring similarities in thought going on here.
For sure. Two straight men, turns out, have some points of view in
Both
common.
are into Johnny Cage.